Hey guys, this is John with Trails Offroad. Today we're up at Medano Pass, a famous Colorado off-road trail. This trail is going to take us from the Sangre de Cristo Mountains all the way into the Great Sand Dunes National Park. Let's hop in the Jeep and go hit the trail.
The east side of Medano Pass begins off Highway 69. If you see signs that say you're on Forest Service 559, you're on the right trail. Be cognizant of private property on both sides of the road until you reach the forest boundary. Medano is the Spanish word for sand dune, and this trail was likely the historic route used by Zebulon Pike in January 1807 as he led an expedition to explore this region. As you gain elevation, you will encounter the forest boundary signs. There are seasonal gates on both ends, which typically open from May 20th to December 1st. The other thing that you will notice as you climb in elevation is the plant life begins to change. The vegetation along this trail is something special. There are so many different species as you start this adventure in a forest and ultimately wind up in a desert. Pay close attention to your surroundings as the flowers are not to miss. Just after the seasonal gate, several nice camping spurs will begin to pop up. This would be a great place to spend the night before going up and over the pass. Medano Pass will require four-wheel drive, and there is ample signage to remind you of this. If you struggle on the first climb, it is not encouraged to go any further. Remember, on the very western side, you will need to compete with deep sand. Two-wheel drive is not going to cut it. As you approach the top, make sure you look back. The views of the wet mountains to the east and the valley below you is a sight to behold. Once you start seeing more signs, you have arrived at the summit of Medano Pass, which is the boundary for the Great Sand Dunes National Preserve. Here's where you will begin your descent down towards the Great Sand Dunes. From here on out, all camping is first come, first served designated camping. There are established fire pits and bear boxes. There is adequate signage reminding you of this and to take bear presence seriously. If you have ever done any research on Medano Pass, you will know that this trail has a lot of water crossings. Some of the water crossings can be very deep, and caution is advised. Meadowy sections of trail are interspersed with all of the water crossings and provide thick bands of aspen trees. This would be a fantastic trail to run in September when the trees change their color from green to gold. Once out of the aspens, you can see the 2010 Medano fire burn scar, which began as a lightning strike and burned about 6,000 acres. As you continue along the trail, the sign you previously saw regarding drowning your engine starts to make more sense. These water crossings on the western end are much deeper, wider, and longer than any of the previous water crossings. It is hard to imagine at this point you are only within a few miles as the crow flies to a desert and some of the largest sand dunes in North America. Once you are done with the majority of the water crossings, a few more campsites appear. This section of trail has lots of standing water in smaller sections of creek. While some of the campsites are exposed and out in the open, a handful are tucked away in a shady pocket of thick pine trees. You are probably wondering about those sand dunes along this trail. Well, you've arrived at that exact spot. The earth you were driving on starts to turn to sand. If you haven't already, make sure you air down your tires as it will help navigate these patches of deep sand. The Great Sand Dunes were formed by a combination of wind, water, and sediment. Creeks and streams brought in large amounts of sediment and sand into the valley. Wind then blew the sand towards the bend of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, where opposing storm winds helped squeeze the sand into the tall dunes you see today. The main dune field covers approximately 30 square miles, and the tallest dune rises about 750 feet from its base to the crest. At the western end of the trail, the park offers complimentary air to get your tires back to street pressure before driving on to your next adventure.
Alright guys, that was Medano Pass. We hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you guys are looking for this trail guide or thousands of other trail guides nationwide, check out trailsoffroad.com on the website or in any of the app stores. And we hope to see you out on the trail.